North America's largest developer of dollar stores. Over 4,600 stores open since 1993. For more information, visit our website at dollarstoreservices.com.
And with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Again, I know everybody's got lots to do. I don't want to eat up more time than we need to, and I want to get to the information that I want to share with you, and then we'll get to your questions. So let me start out by saying I want to introduce myself. My name's John LaFronz. I'm the general manager here. I've been here for 19 years, helping folks get into this exciting business and developing stores for them. And again, I'd ask everybody to mute your phone if you have not done so. A minute or two about my background. I've been in the retail wholesale business for about 40 years, a little bit longer actually, about 45 years. I've been a retailer. I've worked for wholesale companies. I own my own stores for a number of years. I've done import buying, lots of domestic buying. And again, for the last 19 years, I've been in the store development business here at Las Vegas at Dollar Store Services. And a little bit about our company. We are America's largest retail store developer. We've opened over 4,600 stores since 1993. Those are all independently owned stores. We don't have a franchise model, so you never pay any fees or royalties ever, but you get all the benefits of owning a franchise. We have a comprehensive turnkey store package, which does everything that you need done to get you into this business and have you knowledgeable about operating this business. Good evening, welcome. Very quickly, we developed several different types of dollar stores, and we'll touch more on those later, but we do a dollar-only store, which is like Dollar Tree, well, like Dollar Tree used to be until a month or so ago. We also do a Dollar Plus store, which is very much like a Family Dollar or Dollar General. And we do a very exciting new concept. It's a $1, $2, $3 store, which works extremely well in every type of retail environment. We'll talk more about that too as well. What do we do for you? Well, as I said, we have 7 key services in every one of our store development packages. Good evening, welcome. And they're all designed to get you best positioned to own and operate a business. Good evening, welcome. We're just getting started, so if you are just jumping in, please mute your phone until we get to the question and answer part of the evening. So what are those 7 services? Well, we provide financing assistance. We provide site location assistance. We negotiate your lease agreement. Then, once that lease is signed and you're happy with all the terms and conditions of the lease, we schedule your store to be set up. We provide all the everything involved in setting up the store, all the labor, the fixtures, the equipment. Good evening, welcome. Interior signage and allowance towards the cost of the outdoor sign, all the merchandise, of course. Comprehensive training. You become part of our merchandise network in which you can save 20 to 25% on merchandise versus what you would pay as an individual going to those same suppliers. So very, very key value item for you. And, of course, incredible long-term support after you're open. Again, as I mentioned, we're not a franchise, so you never pay any fees or royalties, but you do get all the benefits that a franchise can provide and more. And this is 100% your business. You can operate it any way you choose. We know we're going to give you lots of good guidance and information, but it is your store, and you can add items that you want to add, operate it as you choose, and we're always there to assist you. So I'd like to do for a minute now is just kind of carve back through those services and just touch on a few key points in each. And I know that'll generate some questions. I know a lot of you probably have talked to a representative in our office. Some of you have not. So it's always beneficial, again, to take just a couple of minutes and kind of spin back through what these services can do for you. And let's start with financing. In financing, our store packages start at $87.9. And that's for a 1,000 square foot store. We have any number of different types of lenders that can address most credit profiles that are out there. We have authorized lenders that we can provide information to you on. A lot of our owners will choose to use the home equity that they have in their homes. Right now, with the housing market such as it is, that's a good option for a lot of people, and that's very inexpensive money. In essence, you're borrowing from yourself. We can also assist you with the paperwork for SBA loans. We have lenders that have fixed rate, fixed term loans. We have lenders that offer business lines of credit. And with a FICO score of 700 or better, we know we can almost always get you the funding that you need, including very often working capital as well. We do have a relatively new lender, which we're very excited about, and he's doing a lot of good work for our clients. And they seem to be able to work, even if you have some minor bumps and bruises on your credit, which most of us do, they seem to be able to address those items and work through them and, again, enable you to get the funding that you need to move forward. So that's what we do in financing. So the first thing that happens is if you decide to go forward and submit an application and a deposit, the first thing that happens is you move into our finance department. One of our finance advisors will be on the phone with you. They'll kind of assess your credit, and then what they'll do at that point is they will determine which lenders are best suited to work with you. They'll put you in contact with them, and then we help facilitate that those efforts to get you the funding that you need. Once you've secured the funding, and again, some of our store owners opt to use their own funds, some will use home equity, or use our lenders, and each option is always a good option. Once you've secured your funding path, we move you into site location, and we have a staff of site locators and leasing managers here in our office, so you don't work with any outside people. Everything's controlled right here for you. In site location, we identify every available location in the area that you would like your store to be in the size range that you've chosen to develop. Then we do a deep dive into the analysis of each location. We pull up all the demographics, the traffic counts, the population, who the competitors are and where they are, household income, many, many different markers. And we upload all that information onto a website that you will have access to. It's a proprietary website that we designed some years ago. It's called EasyTrack. And you will be able to see everything there is to see about every one of those locations. Now, we also come across a lot of locations that don't make the cut, so to speak. Either there's a competitor too close, or the asking rent is way out of line, or we just don't like the location. So we may research a lot of locations that you will never see. You're only going to see the best options that we believe are worthy of your consideration. And they will be uploaded on that website for you to review. Your site locator is going to review the specifics of those with you. We ask you to go out and visit them because you're going to see things that we don't see. For example, is the shopping center well lit at night? Is it a safe environment for people to shop in and for your employees to work in? Is it well maintained? Things of that nature. So you'll give us that feedback, and if we both agree that a specific location is worthy of pursuing, then we go ahead and start to negotiate on that. And we will negotiate on a number of locations, not just one, because at the end of the day, we want you to have some good options to evaluate. And we will help you compare one against the other and hopefully get you the information that you need to make the best possible business decision. Now, once you've zeroed in on a location, our leasing manager really steps in, and he will go ahead and, in addition to grading every location again, he's going to submit a letter of intent. That's the first step in negotiating a lease. And he's going to review that with you, and then he's going to submit it to the landlord, and he's going to tell them what you're willing to pay in rent, what type of lease you want, how we want them to deliver the space, and so on. And there's usually a couple of rounds of negotiation. The landlord may come back and say, well, I can do A, B, and C, but I can't do D and E. And your leasing manager will confer with you, and then he'll go back with a counter proposal. And ultimately, we get to, most often, a set of acceptable terms. We review those with you, and if you're in accord and you believe that that's a good all-around economic package, and we agree as well, then we, we have the landlord draft the lease and get it ready for your signature. Now, in that letter of intent, we have 17 key provisions, minimum, that we seek to negotiate for all of our clients. And they're all designed to protect you in the final draft of the lease. I'll give you a couple of quick examples. One of the clauses that you will see is we insist that the landlord make sure that the location, the space, is ADA compliant. And what that means is that it satisfies all the requirements of the Americans with Disabilities Act. Make sure that the restroom is handicapped accessible for your employees and your customers. Make sure that the entry doors are such that someone that has some mobility issues, is in a wheelchair or walker, such as that, is able to navigate your store. That's very important, because if, just as one quick example, if you were to sign a lease and the restroom was not ADA compliant, the city or the county, when they come in to give you a final inspection, they may say, well, you know, Mr. Store Owner, this restroom is going to have to be retrofitted so that it satisfies ADA requirements. That can cost you $10,000, $12,000, $15,000 to put in new fixtures, to widen the door, to make the room larger. So we want to make sure that the landlord bears that expense, not you. So one of those very key provisions that we negotiate for you. Other ones are things such as a dark clause, and often people say, what does that dark clause mean? Well, basically what that means is if you lease a location and Walmart's one of your co-tenants, and you really like the center, Walmart's there, they bring a lot of traffic to your store, and it's a great location, then all of a sudden Walmart announces one day they're going to move across town. And all of a sudden you've got a big 100,000 square foot empty space in your center and no traffic. Well, that's not the location that you signed on for. So with that dark clause, you have several options. You have the option to leave that location. You have the option to stay there at a very minimal rent until the landlord puts a new large anchor tenant in that space, or pay no rent. So we negotiate that for you. It's very important. Another key provision is what's called the no relocation clause, and very similar. If you lease a location and it's 2 doors down from Walmart and people are falling in your front doors every day, you have tons of traffic, tons of business, the landlord can't come in a year later and say, Joe, I got somebody else that wants this location. I'm going to move you down to the end of the center or around the corner and to a much less desirable space. With that no relocation clause, they can't do that. So you get to keep the space that you signed on for. So those are just a few provisions that we negotiate in our leases. And every one of our leasing managers negotiates well over 100 retail leases every year. They've been with us for years, and they know what to look for. They know what to avoid. And their only mission is to get you the best lease agreement possible. So we go through that exercise. You finally decide on a location. We negotiate the lease terms to your satisfaction, and if everything's in good order, then you sign the lease. And now we're ready to actually open your store, where things really kind of get exciting. So what happens next? Well, a couple of things. Number one, you're going to be talking to our Vice President of Operations, and he's going to coordinate with you and the landlord to make sure the space is ready, and any work that the landlord has to do, like painting the space, putting in new flooring, putting in a ceiling, whatever those things might be. He's going to coordinate with the landlord to make sure that work happens as quickly as possible so that we can schedule our arrival in your store to set everything up. At the same time, you're going to be talking to our trainer, and the trainer is going to review all aspects of operating your store, staffing, hiring, cash control, and very importantly, they're going to review the merchandise with you and all the suppliers and determine which suppliers are best suited for your store based on where you are geographically. And then what they're going to do is they're going to discuss the merchandise aspect of the business with you. They're going to talk about your location specifically. They're going to have all the information about that location, who the competitors are and where they are, and who the people are that live around your store location. Are they older? Are they younger? Do they own their homes? Do they rent their homes? What is their household income? Because all those things factor into creating the best possible merchandise mix for your store. And then they're going to talk to you as well. And I often get very involved in this part of the process because I love the merchandise. But then we talk to you about any special merchandise needs that you may have identified. It may be that you know there's some retirement communities close by, so we want to focus on that. Or there's an elementary school 2 blocks away, and those students at the end of the day walk right past the shopping center where you are. So we want to merchandise to all those specific groups. So we take that information and we'll create a set of opening orders, a recommended set of opening orders, and then we send them to you and we review them with you. You can make any changes to them that you would like to make, add items, delete items, and so forth, so that you have good visibility into the product that's going to go into your store. And every store is different. Merchandise orders are never the same. They're never cookie cutter because every space, every location, every community has different needs, so we want to address those. So that's what's happening in training. Then we get to the place where your store is ready to open. We send a crew out, we send a store setup supervisor, and we get all the labor hired to do the store setup. And again, as I mentioned earlier, your package includes all the store fixtures, the merchandise, the interior signage, all the labor, the freight to get everything there. Our crew is there typically. Our setup supervisor will arrive on a Sunday evening. He will meet with you. He'll walk the store one more time, get a key from you. Early Monday morning, generally speaking, the store fixtures arrive. Our crew is there to unload them. We start setting up the counters and putting the slat wall on the walls and getting the store ready, because usually Monday afternoon or Tuesday the merchandise starts arriving. And again, our crew is there. We're unloading it. We're setting up the product on the shelving as it comes in, stocking everything. There's always a little bit of excess merchandise on key items that we put in the back room, so you have some backup stock. We put up your interior store signage, set the checkout in place, put the registers in place. That typically is done by late Friday or Saturday, barring anything unforeseen. It takes about a week from start to finish, and then you are ready to open. The setup supervisor will review the cash handling operation one more time, though you will have already covered that in training. And our training consists of online modules. It consists of phone training. And that trainer is going to stay in contact with you for at least the first 60 to 90 days after you're open. And that's really important, because in the early days of a new store, it can be a little daunting, even though the training is very, very detailed. You have a great opening, and you got to write some reorders, and you got to get it right now. Well, the trainer is there to help you with that. And often what we do is we write one set of orders and have them ready for you, because we know which items are generally going to sell out the quickest, so that first order may already be written for you, and we try to get you to have that order ready to place. So when a couple of days after opening, you may say, man, I got to get that order now, because I know by the weekend I'm going to be out of business. I'm going to sell through my best merchandise, so I got to get that order cooking right now. So we work with you on that too. And again, over that first 60 to 90 days, we're in very regular contact with you, and we're always available to you for questions you might have, sourcing product that you may be getting requests for, and so on. And of course, getting you ready for every season and holiday as they come up on the calendar. You know, we like to help our stores book their merchandise orders for the upcoming holidays well in advance, and then we provide you with a calendar that says when you should place your orders, when they should arrive in your store, when the merchandise should go out on display. You also get a full set of seasonal signs, and we have a calendar that shows when those signs should go up in the windows and around the store and so on, so that you're set up well in advance of every holiday and season, and you're pre-selling that for your customers. So they know when Valentine's Day rolls around. Most of our stores are set up with Valentine's right now. And they see it. They're not quite ready to buy Valentine's product, but they know that the store has it. So when they are ready, they know that you're the one-stop shop for all that product, and every holiday is exactly the same way. Now, after that first 60 to 90 days, if everything's going well and you feel, and we feel, that you've got your arms around the store, everything's progressing well, you're in your ordering system and so on, then we move your store to a long-term coordinator's desk here in our office, and that person provides that same support for you, and that goes on for the life of your business. Now, they may not contact you every day, usually once a week, sometimes twice a week, but they are always available to you for any help that you might need. And come holiday time, especially during fall and Christmas, that person is a key resource for you, because I'll give you one quick example. The first year I owned a store of my own, I opened in late October, early November, and I was still kind of learning the business. So I'd been in the business, but being there on the front lines is a little bit different. So I geared up. I bought a lot of merchandise. So when I rolled into Thanksgiving, I thought I was really loaded for bear, so to speak, and had plenty of product. And I started to walk the store the Monday after Thanksgiving weekend, and I said, oh my gosh, I was about out of medium Christmas bags. I had no red and green tissue paper to stuff those bags. I was missing key items like 24-count crayons and things like that, which are great stocking stuffers, and on and on and on. And I had to sit down. I had to start calling vendors and going online and trying to figure out who was in stock on what items so I could put an order together. Well, if I'd had my store bought through our company, I would just call that merchandise support person here in our office, and I'd say, Susie, I need medium bags, I need tissue paper, I need 24-count crayons, I need 6 or 7 items. She's going to know which suppliers of our network of suppliers are in stock on those key items. And she's going to look at your list, and she's going to go, supplier B has everything you need, so let's put an order together right now and get it in. And that's so important because, just again as an example, between Thanksgiving and Christmas, actually between Halloween and Christmas, the business really starts to speed up. And every day during that period of time is like 3 days business-wise from any other time of the year. So every day you're out of that green and red tissue paper, you're out of that tissue paper really for 3 days because you're losing a lot of business. So that person is a key resource for you during those holiday times, and almost irreplaceable. So that's kind of how the training works, both before and after you're open. The other key item that I always like to touch on is the merchandise system, because it's so important. And I often say that the merchandise is the engine that pulls the train. You can have a great location. You can have a beautiful store. You can be the best merchant out there. But if you can't buy product at the right price and you can't have fresh product in your store all the time, you're not going to do very well. So how do we address that? Because it's so important. There are 3 big components to a good merchandise system, and they're value, variety, and new products. And we go head on to address each one of those with you and for you. For example, we have about 85 suppliers located around the country. Some of them are what we call general merchandise suppliers, which supply a lot of different categories of product. Some of them are more specialty suppliers that provide just 1 or 2 categories, like small electronics or greeting cards or costume jewelry, things like that. And they're all situated to make sure that delivery times are short so you can get product in your store as quickly as possible. And so how do we create, let's talk about variety for just a second. How do we create variety for you? Because we have so many suppliers, and I'll give you a quick example. If you were doing a store in the greater Chicago area as an independent person, you would really only be able to buy from suppliers in and around Chicago because that's all you know. And it would be very hard to buy from suppliers in other parts of the country because the freight would be different and you really don't know what they have. And anybody that's been in the retail business knows that, certainly in our business, that it's almost impossible to buy product from a catalog or from pictures on the internet because you really don't know what the product is. So what do? We travel to each of our suppliers on a very regular basis. I do a lot of that traveling myself. Our owner does a good portion of it as well. We visit each supplier almost every month. We look at their new products. We assess them. We hold them in our hands. We determine that they have good value, that they do what they're supposed to do, and that the packaging is right. It looks like a high-value item. And if we like that item, then we negotiate the price on it. And if we get to what we believe is a good price, provides good value for you and for your customers, then we let you know about those items. And we send you new product information all the time. And you're only going to see merchandise that we have personally evaluated. And that's really important. So you don't have to do that work. We do that work for you. So we've already vetted the products that we're going to present to you. And we've negotiated the price on them. So you're getting good value, you're getting good quality, professional packaging, and the right price. And again, the cost of merchandise is almost always negotiable. But you can't do that with a catalog. You can't say to that catalog, you know, I think that item's only worth 58 cents. But sitting across the table from the vendor, you can certainly do that, and we do. So that's how we provide value. We provide variety because we have, as I mentioned, so many suppliers, and you're able to buy from them where other operators in your area cannot, because a lot of our suppliers offer freight guarantees, freight caps. So whereas an individual store down the street from you or across town can only buy from suppliers in Chicago, you can buy from suppliers in Houston, on the East Coast, in Southern California, because you can get that product delivered to you inexpensively enough that you can sell it and make money doing so. So that's how we create variety. You're going to have products that nobody else in your market has. The other way we create variety, and I'll take a minute to explain this, but most of the product in our business is shipped in full cartons. They're called master cartons. So as an example, a master carton of pizza cutters might have 72 pieces of a pizza cutter in there. That's a lot of pizza cutters. And pizza cutters are a good item, but 72 of them is a lot, and it'll take a while to sell them. But with our suppliers, because our stores do so much business with them and they value the business that our stores do, they will ship what's called an inner carton. And what that means is in that master carton of 72 pieces of pizza cutters, there are inner boxes of 12 pieces each. And they will ship just one of those or two of those. So that does two things for you. It makes sure that the pizza cutters that you order, number one, will all fit on the counter, and you can reorder them as you need them. You don't have to put half the carton in the back room. But more importantly, you don't have inventory dollars sitting in the back room. So instead of having 72 pieces of pizza cutter, you can have 24 pieces, and you can have 2 or 3 other items, 24 pieces of each, because now you've got more money to devote to those other items. So it creates a lot more variety that way. So we've talked about value, we've talked about variety, and let's talk about new merchandise, because this is so important. And it's the one thing that's sometimes the hardest to impress upon a new store owner. So I'm going to take a minute. You know, in our business, there are about 30% of the items that you carry that are always going to be recurring items that you want to always have in your store. And they're the items that people come in for every single week, and the same items that you shop for when you go shopping. Paper towels, toilet tissue, shampoo and conditioner, paper plates, things like that. Those are the items. When I walk into your store, I have a list, and those are the kinds of items that are on it. They're consumable items and items that I use up and I buy again and again and again. And they're important, and you got to have them, because when a customer walks into your store, that's what they're looking for. But once somebody walks into your store, and I'm a key example, I'm a habitual shopper, and I go into dollar stores 2-3 times a week. Drives my wife crazy, and I'll explain why in a minute. So I will go into the store that I pass by on my way home, and I'll pick up those items that I need. I'll grab a package of paper plates. I'll grab a couple of rolls of paper towels. I'll grab some cookies and snacks, because that's what I'm about. But then, and your customers do the same thing, now I've satisfied my needs. That's what I came for. But now I look around, and a couple of weeks ago I was in a dollar store right before Christmas, actually, and they had a 4-piece set of Christmas placemats, and they looked really cool, and it was like $1 or $1.50, I think. It was a $1+ store. But they were nice. And I said, man, it's a couple weeks before Christmas. I'm going to put these on my kitchen table and make my wife happy. So I grabbed them, and I saw one of these chamois, these man-made chamois that you use to clean your car. So I picked up one of those, and a couple of toys for my grandkids. And so all of a sudden I was going to spend $5 or $6. I think I spent $15 that shopping trip, buying items I didn't know I needed, but the perceived value was so good that I had to make that buying decision, and so I did. Now, when I go back, which I actually did right after Christmas, of course I didn't need the placemats that were Christmas, but even if they were everyday placemats, I didn't need them. I still have them. I didn't need the chamois. I didn't need the toys for my grandkids. But as a customer, I picked up my paper towels and so forth that I did need again. But, if that store had something new in home decor, which they did, I bought a nice table runner. And if they had something new in automotive, which they did, they had these stick-on mirrors, these spot mirrors, which I thought were cool, so I picked up a couple of those for my truck. And again, I'm a customer. I wouldn't have bought those items that weren't consumable again, but I'll buy new items. So that's why it's so important that every time you write an order, at least half that order should consist of items that you didn't have in your store before. And we send you information and review with you information on hundreds of new items every week, because that's so critically important. It builds your average sale, it builds your profits, and it makes your customers want to come back. They can buy paper towels lots of places, even though you're the cheapest guy to buy them from. But if they know that every time I come into your store, by gosh, I'm going to see things I haven't seen before, and they're going to have good value, and I'm going to buy them. The other thing that does is most often you don't want to rebuy those new items. You want to get something new, as I mentioned earlier. The other thing that does is it helps to educate your customer. For example, if I came in and I'd seen that chamois, and I didn't buy it, I'll grab it next trip in here. And come back in a week or two, the chamois not there. So I'll go to the store and I'll say, Joe, what happened? I wanted to get a couple of those chamois, but I don't see them. He's going to tell me, just like you're going to tell your customers, that was a special buy. It was a one-time deal. Unfortunately, I can't get it again. So all I can tell you, Joe, is when you see an item in my store that you like, you should grab it right now. We get great values, but we get different values all the time. So now, as a customer, I'm thinking, man, if I see something I like in Joe's store, I'm going to get it right now because I know it's not going to be here next week. So that's why the new goods are so important. They build profit, they build sales, they build repeat business. And that is our development program in a nutshell. And I said the other key item is the long-term support. You get that merchandise coordinator for the life of your business. Everybody in our office is always available to you at any time. From time to time we get owners to come back. They've been through the life of their lease. They would like to negotiate a new lease or maybe negotiate a lease for a second location. We do all those things for you, all part of the package that you've originally purchased from us. So you never pay us another dime, but you get all those benefits. And again, as I mentioned earlier, if you decide to go forward, it's a very simple process. Your store development representative can, excuse me, there's someone that hasn't muted their phone. Could you do that very quickly, please? Thank you. Sir, please mute your phone. The process all starts with an application and a $500 deposit, which is fully refundable. If you decide not to go forward or can't get financing or for any other reason at all, you just tell us, hey, send me my deposit back, and we'll do so immediately. If you do go forward and open a store, that deposit becomes part of the purchase price of your store, so you never lose it. And it's a very simple process. Your store development contact person whose name was on your email that you got or in your text, they can do that with you in about 10 minutes on the phone when you're ready. And with all that being said, what I'd like to do is kind of open it up to questions now. And if you would, if you have a question, unmute your phone. If you would, just introduce yourself with your first name and where you're from, because that's always interesting to me. And I'll get to your questions. So let's go.
Okay, my name is Leon Miller. I'm from Miami.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm fine, and I pretty much caught majority of what you said, and I was having issues with my phone, but anyway, I caught a little bit, but so you guys, I caught the part that you guys find us the location and everything, that we don't have to come out of our pocket and pay for any other locations, huh?
That is correct. Yeah, we do all that work for you.
So when it comes down to that, so we have to, we'll be dealing with you or the landlord for the lease in the building? How they go?
Okay, good question. We're going to negotiate that lease in coordination with you. You're going to be involved every step of the way in terms of what the terms are going to be, how long the lease is going to be, what the rental rates are going to be, and you're going to sign off on every one of those items before they're finalized.
Okay.
And then we review the lease. Once we get to those final terms and you agree with everything, we have the landlord actually draft the lease, send it to us and to you, and we review it with you so you have a clear understanding of everything that's in that lease. And if you agree with it all, then you go ahead and sign it, and we move forward with setting up your store.
Okay. So let me see. I have one more question.
Sure.
As far as in location, so what if you decide that you would like to be on, right off the highway or something like that. Do we get those type of options, or we just have to, pretty much whatever you guys space available or whatever you can find, we have to just, we can go for that.
Well, we know that there's, no matter where you are, there's only so many locations that are going to be available in the area you want to be,
right.
in the size range you want to be. So we're going to find all of those, every one that's available.
Okay.
And then what happens, Leon, is there are some that we may eliminate from you considering because maybe the rent's way too high or there's a competitor right next door. So we're going to discard those. And then we're going to present to you, all the sites that we think are worthy of you taking a look at. And there's usually a pretty good number. We start with a listing of maybe 10, 15, 20 sites, winnow them down. And you're always going to have good options. And then we will negotiate on more than one because we want to make sure at the end of the day you have those good options. And sometimes, you can use one as kind of a hammer against another landlord. We may have a location where you like them both, but you like this one a little bit more. So we may go back to the landlord and say, Leon likes this space, but your rent's just a little too high, and we can do this deal over here across town, and it's $3 a square foot less. So we love your space, but we're not going to be able to do it. Then if they want a quality tenant, we know you're going to be one. They're gonna work hard to get your business. So that's how that process works.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and you're involved every step of the way. So.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, basically, they pretty much answered a few of my questions. I'm steady thinking to give somebody else an opportunity to get, to ask you a few questions.
Okay, great. And any questions you have, you can always call me during the day or call your store development rep, and they're going to be able to address those questions for you as well. So don't hesitate.
Okay, I really appreciate it. And kind of send them an email because this is a new phone. I lost my phone yesterday, and I lost all the information, but I still got the same number. So I don't have none of the information I had before. So if you can, and it forced me to get another email too. So I got a whole another email address.
Okay, and your last name was Miller, correct, Leon?
Yes.
Okay,
Miller Leon.
Okay, I'll have whoever your store development rep is reach out to you tomorrow so they can get you all that information again.
Okay, and I appreciate it. That's why I want to run by you. Please do that for me.
Great, I will do so. You have a great evening. Thanks for your questions.
All righty.
Okay, who's next?
May I speak?
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Who is this?
Okay, this is Suzette.
And where are you from, Suzette?
I'm Canadian. I live in Toronto.
Oh, okay. What can I ask? What can I ask you? What can I answer for you this evening?
So, what are the conditions if I don't have connections with the U.S., but I'd be interested in setting up a store here in Toronto.
Okay, good question. It's a little bit different. Our Canadian program is basically the same, with a couple of minor differences. In Canada, we don't have any resources for financing, so you would have to secure your own financing. That's probably the big difference. Other than that, in Canada, the stores are all going to be $+ stores, more than $1, because most of the product is going to have to come from the States. Because there just aren't a lot of manufacturers in Canada, which is not unusual. I mean, you have Dollar Giant, you have Dollar Tree there, which is well over $1 and has been for a long time. So that would be the two differences. You're always going to be a $+ store, and unfortunately, we can't help you with financing there. But everything else is exactly the same.
So the only exclusion is finance.
That's correct.
Everything else is available.
Yes, and if you're going to go to a lender in Canada, we can always help you with a business plan to take to them if that's something that they're going to ask you for.
Okay.
You can always do that as well.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, because I think government has a special provision for women, financing.
Yes, yeah, they have some preferential programs.
Now, the other thing, because I would really like to have my family run the business with me.
Mm-hmm.
Would I get any help in? Okay, I can sponsor my family from Africa.
I see. Okay.
Because I am a citizen. So my family, I can sponsor. But in terms of the whole bureaucracy, negotiating for visas and stuff like that, would you be able to help, or would that be my responsibility only?
Okay, and you're a citizen of Canada, correct?
Yeah, but
okay.
my family is based in Africa.
I understand.
And those are people that I would trust more than anybody else.
Sure.
Because I don't know anybody else in Canada.
Understood.
So I would need because they are astute business people, business-minded young people,
Mm-hmm.
and they have the energy and the passion and the training. So I would really need them to be here and work with me on this.
Okay. So what we could do in that regard, and we do that here in the States too, often the government entities in any country, whether it's Canada or the U.S., they're going to require letters of support for those people
Right.
that you want to sponsor, and we can draft those letters for you, and we can let them know that you're establishing a business. Now in Canada, I'm not sure of all the regulations. Here in the U.S., just as a quick example, if somebody wants to emigrate here from Ghana, just to use a country, and open a business here, they have to show a certain level of investment. Your scenario is a little bit different because you're going to be making the investment, but you want to sponsor these other individuals to work in that business.
Yes.
So we could create the letters that you would need in support of that when they make their visa application, and be happy to do that for you.
Okay, yeah, because here in Canada there is established companies that the government recommends, for bringing workers in for particular businesses.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the dollar store in that list.
You know what I would suggest, Suzette? Your situation is very unique and probably doesn't relate to a lot of other people that are on the call. Can you jot down my phone number and give me a call on Monday, and or Tuesday rather? Monday's a holiday, but Tuesday. Let me know when you're ready. And we can talk specifically about your project, which I think would be good.
Great.
My number is
Who am I speaking to?
My name is John LaFronz.
John?
Yes, John. I'm the only John here. You don't even need my last name. And my number, Suzette, is 702 637
637, yes.
3389.
3389.
Yes, and just give me a call on Tuesday anytime.
And
that's my number here in the office.
And that is the U.S.
That's correct.
Okay, so you say Tuesday?
Yes, anytime Tuesday. If you miss me, just leave a message and I'll call you right back.
Okay, thank you so much.
Great, thank you, Suzette. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Next question?
Hi, John. Charu here.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Good. Where are you from?
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts.
Oh, very nice. One of my favorite cities.
Great. So my question is about the finance as you said, it's 87,900K for 1,000 square feet store I would be looking for.
Okay.
I wanted to understand the breakdown of the, as you said, it doesn't include any franchisee fees and stuff. I wanted to understand how much inventory will I be starting with that, and the fixtures, what kind of things will be available with the price I'm gonna put in.
Okay. Okay, I can answer that generally, and I can send you a listing. But in a 1,000 square foot dollar store, you would get $16,000 of inventory at cost, which is it translates to about $32,000 at retail. And then you also would receive all the shelving, slat wall for all the interior walls, and all the accessories that you need, of course, hooks, shelves, things like that. The checkout counter and the cash register, interior signage, which goes all around the store, a complete set of overhead signage and window signage for both every day and every season and holiday. And then that package also includes, of course, all the freight to get everything there, the fixtures and the merchandise and so on. Our setup crew and all the labor that's required to receive everything and put everything together. And then an allowance towards the cost of your outdoor sign as well, because we want to make sure that you do get a sign up right away. And all the after opening support that I described. So yeah, all of that's included.
All right. So also, does it include my say if the lease, the cost which I'm gonna incur, the monthly rent of the property?
No, that is your lease expense is paid out of the proceeds of the business.
Okay. And also the same would be for the electricity bill and everything else, right?
Yeah, you got to pay that too. Yeah, utilities, your staffing and so forth, that's all paid out of the proceeds of the business.
Got it. All right. So I have a few other questions, but I don't want to take a lot of time. So as you were talking to Susan, I was listening to the phone number. Is that the way I should reach out? Because I'm sure many other callers might have the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. You can give me a call tomorrow. If you miss me, leave a message and I'll get back with you. We are closed Monday for the Martin Luther King holiday, but we'll be open again on Tuesday. But yeah, absolutely. And you can also call, if you choose to, your store development representative should have been noted on the bottom of the email that you received for this teleseminar. And you can also reach out to that individual as well. But either way is fine. I'm always available.
All right. So I have Bruce on my email ID. I'm not sure if he would be the right person to reach out.
Yeah, absolutely. He can answer any questions that you have as well. And again, you can certainly feel free to call me also.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You have a great evening.
You too. Thanks.
Take care. Yes, next question.
Hello?
Yes, hi, this is John. How are you this evening?
John, thank you, first of all. I thank you. I'm calling from Boston, and my name is A.Y.
A.Y., unusual name. Is everybody on the... Okay. Is everybody on the call from Boston tonight?
Yes, we plan on. This
That's
is
great.
planning. We're all from Boston.
I see. You're all in a meeting hall somewhere. That's wonderful.
That's right.
Hi, Ava. Nice to know that I have somebody from Boston here.
See, we're going to have a little network of stores there when we're all done. It's going to be great.
That's right.
So go ahead, A.Y. What's your question?
My question is, tell me more about Top Shelf.
Okay, Top Shelf is not one of our brands. That is, Top Shelf is a Dollar General brand. And what that, I can tell you what it is. It's a combination, very quickly, it's a combination of a Dollar Plus store with a lot of teen-centric product. And we can do a store like that. We don't merchandise one, but we do a teen store, and of course we do a Dollar Plus store. So we can, I'll give you a quick example. We're doing a store right now, and it's a Dollar Plus store. So we have a lot of latitude in terms of the retails. And the owner, because there's not a lot of availability for this product in his community, he wanted to add a lot of small electronics, gaming electronics, some teen items for like home decor, you know, the lights that kids put in their rooms and things like this. So we created kind of a custom product mix for him, and we could certainly do that. But the Pop Shelf is actually a Dollar General brand.
So it's not you?
Not us at all, no.
But I talked to Bruce, and he said definitely that's something we can do.
Well, I think he probably was intending to tell you the exact same thing that I just told you. We can do a store like that for you,
Okay.
but I'd have to create it for you. And we can talk about that, but probably not on this call because it's specific to you.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, if you want to give me a call tomorrow or Tuesday, let's talk about that.
I have your number, and I have Bruce's number. Thank you very much.
Yeah, reach out to me and let's talk either tomorrow or next week. We'll see what we can put together.
Thank you, John, and make sure you visit Boston.
Actually, my wife and I are going to the East Coast this summer. I grew up there, not in Boston, but in New York.
Oh,
so I was in Boston quite a bit.
You must come to Boston. It's beautiful. But never been to Las Vegas. Maybe I'll be there for the 3-day section.
All right, I like Boston better than here. I'll just tell you that.
Welcome. Thank you, John.
Thank you. Have a great evening. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
You're doing a good job. Bye.
Thank you. Yes, next question.
Hello.
Yes, hello. There's someone that hasn't muted their phone. I'm sorry, sir, just a second. If you haven't muted your phone, please do so everybody can hear. I appreciate that. Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hi, my name, I guess for short, is T from Arizona.
Okay.
So I have actually 2 questions. One is just helping me understanding, like the dollars, is it the naming, Dollar Tree or Dollar Store, or it be our own name from a franchise standpoint?
You can't use Dollar Tree because that is a corporate name and they own it. And the second part of the question is, yes, you can name the store whatever you choose. And we have a list of names that people have used or thought about using over the years. And I'm always happy to send that to you because you may not pick a name from there, but sometimes it's a good list to brainstorm from to come up with your own name. And it's always nice to have your own name because a lot of times it may be specific to the area where your store ends up being, which is always nice too.
And then the second question is, because I was trying to relate to seeing one of the stores to do, like, are we able to see, like, say, someone within the area who has invested in the company?
Sure.
And kind of do a drive-by?
Yeah, absolutely. If you call or email your rep, they'll come back to me and I'll see what I can find that's close to you. It's always a good idea to do that. And you know, sometimes there may be occasion where we don't really have a store close to you geographically, and if that's the case, I can always give you sets of photos of some recent stores that we've just set up, so you can get a feel for what your store would look like. But yeah, get a hold of your rep, and let's start with finding one close to you. Let's see if we can do that.
All right, thank you. Perfect.
Great, thank you, sir. Yes, next question. Well, okay. Yeah, go ahead.
I wanted to know, this Quinn from Memphis.
Quinn?
I had paid my $500.
Uh-huh.
I think he told me I'm going to have to wait. My credit score got about the bruises on it, so I'm going to have to wait to get my credit score.
What's your last name, Quinn? And I'll take a look at that in the morning, see where we are. Franklin? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, I know your file. Yeah, let me check with, I can't remember if that's Ruth or Mario. I want to say it's Ruth.
Mario.
Mario. Let me check with him first thing in the morning and see what the timeline is going to look like for you. Yeah, I saw those notes actually just this morning, quite honestly. So.
Okay.
And I think I left you a message last week hoping to catch up with you. That was me probably. So let me check with Mario in the morning and I'll give you a call, or I'll have him give you a call.
Okay. I had told him I think he was send my money back, but I told him Might have to wait. I'm positive.
Okay. Yeah, let's
See if I can-
talk in the morning. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Okay.
Brantley.
Great. All right. Thank you, Quentin. You have a good evening.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Brantley.
Hello. Next question.
Hi, John. This is Sajita.
Who is it? I'm sorry, ma'am.
This is Sajita.
Uh-huh. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Ma'am, could you mute your phone? It's hard to hear the caller. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Thank you.
So basically, I just want to know how long does it take, like, for a process from, like, once I pay the application and I get the finance information, like estimate how much it costs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, so how long does it take from once I apply to the store ready?
Understood. Okay, good question. Good question. So if you were going to look to get some financing, that you will typically know once your application comes in, you will know within 72 hours if you qualify and for how much you qualify for. And then, you know, usually you'll make that funding decision within a few days. You know, sometimes, you know, you and your partner or spouse, if there is one, want to discuss it. But you'll know that answer pretty quickly, like I say, within 72 hours. Then we move you, if you decide to go forward, we move your project right into our real estate department and get to work on locations. That process typically takes about 30 to 45 days. And the reason for that is we want to make sure, it's like finding a spouse. We don't want to kiss the first one that comes along. We want to make sure that we look at all the available locations so don't miss one that might be actually the best location for you. So I like to take some time to review all the locations that are available, negotiate the ones that you like. So you can figure 30, 45 days in real estate. Sometimes it's quicker, but you know, as a rule of thumb, I'm always going to say that. And then from that point, about another 30 days to get your store open, 30 to 45 days. So it can be done within 2 to 3 months at the absolute outside, and can be faster. But I always like to make sure that we do our due diligence, especially with regards to site location and real estate. That's the most important aspect of finding a good location is a little bit of patience.
Okay. So, but we don't get the finance estimate unless we apply, right?
That is correct. Yeah, we have to, because there's a lot of information that we need, and we talk to so many people in the course of a week and a month that we can only really devote our time to the people that have a level of interest. And as I said, that deposit is fully refundable if you decide not to go forward for any reason at all. You just need a level of interest on your side so that we can go ahead and get to work for you.
Okay. That's good. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Good. Very good. Thank you.
Can I get
your
phone number once again, sir?
Yes. 702. Are you ready?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. 702.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
702 637 3389.
And your name is John, right?
John, yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your...
Thank you. I look forward to speaking with you. Take care.
Sure. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye. Next question? Well, okay.
Hi, this is Kelly.
Go ahead. Yes, Kelly, go ahead.
I am from the Bahamas.
You're not from Boston?
No, I had to say that.
All right.
I've been there, though. It's a beautiful place.
And I've been to the Bahamas, and I feel the same way. Go ahead. What's your question?
My question is, with it being the Bahamas, do I fall in that same category as the person from Canada?
A little bit different. In terms of financing, do you have a Social Security number, a U.S. one, or no?
No.
Okay, so the funding answer would be the same. You would have to secure your funding outside of our services. But then everything else is basically the same. Now, unlike Canada, there's water between the U.S. and the Bahamas. So what we do is we ship everything to the Port of Miami, and then we work with a freight consolidator. We load all the the store fixtures and equipment, and all the opening inventory into a container. You would be responsible for the ocean freight from Miami to the Bahamas. And then we would either send someone to do the store setup, or you may choose to do that work yourself, and usually we price those both ways. And we have a number of owners, that are offshore that say, well, I could save that labor, and maybe I could do this myself. And if they do, we provide you with a full set of instructions, assembly instructions and video for the store fixtures, store photos and merchandise layouts of what each section should look like. But either way, we can do that. And normally I'll price those stores out both ways. The other key difference, Kelly, would be that when we ship your initial store to you, we're going to always suggest that you buy more merchandise. And the reason for that is twofold. One, typically there's if you did a 1,000 square foot store, for example, the store fixtures are going to fill up about half the container thereabouts. The typical merchandise for 1,000 square foot store will fill up maybe another 25%. So rather than ship that container partially empty, because you're going to pay the freight either way, full or empty, we're going to recommend that you buy enough merchandise to fill in that container to first to take advantage of the freight costs, but more importantly, because you want to have some extra merchandise on hand, because the delivery times are going to be a little bit longer for you on reorders. So we want to make sure that you have a little bit of extra war chest, you might say, of merchandise to carry you through until you get your first reorder on the water. So, and we coordinate all that with you. So what we would do there is we would work out a custom price for you once we know what size store and we know what kind of container space we're going to have to work with overall, and I do that with you directly.
Okay. And as far as the site location, would that then depend on me finding the spot? Or
we can help you with that, but you would be probably a little bit more involved than we would typically, because you're right there on the ground. You're going to see locations. We can contact brokers there and so on. We don't have a lot of research tools to use from here, but we can work with brokers there, and with you being there live, that you can kind of expedite that process.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you much. They were my questions.
Thank you, Kelly. Have a great evening. And any more questions, call me. I'd love to do a store there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Hi,
you.
how are you, John?
Good. Who's this?
My name is Mujib from Virginia.
Okay. How are you this evening?
Thank you. I have a quick question.
Yes.
Regarding the money, when we agree with the amount of money, how you want to hand over the money, like by breakdown or all in one?
You mean to pay for the store package itself?
Yeah. If you pay for the package, how you want to hand
okay.
the money?
Have you
like
pay? Okay.
one?
Good question. And the answer is we would need to have all the funds for the store package. Say you did a 1,000 square foot store and it's $87,900. We would need to have all those funds in hand no later than 30 days before we were scheduled to arrive and set up your store. And the reason for that is we're paying out those monies for your merchandise, for your store fixtures, for the labor and so on. So we have to have those funds in hand 30 days before we're scheduled to show up at your doorstep to start putting your store together.
Okay, another question.
Yes.
Here is like another type of store. I think there will be the grocery, some frozen foods.
Well, we do what's called a big box store. It starts at 10,000 square feet. In our regular dollar plus stores, we don't put frozen food in for two reasons. Frozen food you have to buy in very large quantities, so it becomes a storage problem. And number two, quite honestly, there's no money in selling frozen food. And I'll give you a quick example. Years ago, I had stores of my own, as I mentioned earlier. I don't know if you're on the call then or not, but my largest store was about 8,000 square feet. And So I put in I think 4 or 6 double door freezers. And I was really excited to have the frozen food. I thought it was going to be a great add-on for my business. So I started buying it, and then I found that I had to buy pallet quantities of the frozen food, and I couldn't receive it all into my store. And I didn't have back storage for frozen, so it cost me more money because it had to come in refrigerated trucks, number one. So the freight was much higher. And number two, I had to go out and find cold storage in the area where my stores were to keep the excess. And then I had to go over there, pick it up, or have one of my people pick it up in a truck as I needed it, run it over. It was a money loser from day one. And I just never recommend it to our store owners. Unless you're going to have a really large store, if you're going to be 10, 15, 20,000 square feet, then you can make it make sense. But in a smaller store, I'm always going to recommend not to do that.
Okay, which one do you recommend?
I would say and we didn't really talk too much about this, but our 1, 2, 3 stores, they start at 1,000 square feet, and they are right now, they're our most popular store format because you can have the best of the dollar product, the best of the dollar plus product, and be competitive with everybody in your market, whoever's there. If Dollar Tree's there, Dollar General's there, doesn't matter. You're going to be very competitive with them because your store is so unique. It'll be like nobody else. So I'm always going to recommend the 1, 2, 3. But what we do is as we get into site location and start looking at locations that are available, we're going to talk about each location. It may be that based on the competition or the lack of competition, there may be an opportunity to consider doing a different type of store. You may be in an area where there's no competition and not a lot of retail business at all, a smaller community. So we may discuss there doing a full dollar plus store because you can serve many more retail needs in your community. But, as we get into real estate and start looking at locations, I can always talk to you about what my recommendations are as to a specific location, what might be the best format. And that's part of what we do.
Okay, thank you, sir. One other question. And there will be only selling the dollar service products or no, we can put own products as well?
Absolutely. It's your store, so you can add your own products. We're working with a gentleman right now that he wants to add some Indian product to his store because the area where he lives, there's a large Indian population. So we're going to create space in the store for him to do that. And we do that all the time, so absolutely.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Have a good evening. Next question.
Hi, I'm Engelbert calling from Texas.
Yes, sir. What's your question?
Yeah,
Thanks for calling.
I have 2 questions. The first is, with a 1,000 square foot store, how much percentage of the 87,900 goes for merchandise, labor, fixture, and rent? And how long do you pay the rent when you negotiate for the first installment of the rent?
Okay, we don't pay the rent at all. That's not part of your package. And obviously we can't do that because the rent in every area is very different. So the rent is not included in the package. In a 1,000 square foot dollar only store, the merchandise portion is $16,000 at wholesale cost, about $32,000 at retail. And then we don't break down I don't know what the labor is going to be in your area, but we're going to pay all of it.
Okay.
In that 87.9, everything I've described is included. If I have to pay $20 an hour for labor or $15 an hour, whatever it is, we're going to pay it. It's all part of that price. Your price never changes. You're protected.
Okay, this is a personal question to you who has owned a Dollar Tree store before. Let me just say, I'm just curious, how much do you make for the first month when you just start up? I know it depends on the location and it depends on the type of store you have and the fixtures inside. So, but what estimate, if you were to use a particular store, let's say 1,000 square feet store, what estimate do you think somebody can make from the first month of retail, second month? I know that all of those depends on location and type of fixtures. or goods that are inside?
Sure, and it's a very hard question to answer because, as you say, every space is unique. The rents are going to vary a lot. The customer traffic is going to vary a lot. But what we do, and this is probably the best way I can answer this question, is when we get to the point in time where we've negotiated the lease terms down to the final number, and you know and we know how much the rent is, how much free rent you're going to get, which is key. We always negotiate for a number of months of free rent, and every negotiation is different, but we always get free rent as well. So once we know all those key numbers, and then we know everything about the location. We know where the competition is and who it is. We know who the co-tenants are in your center with you and what kind of traffic they're going to deliver. And we know everything about the community, the demographics, the population, all of that. What I can do with you, and what I almost always do, is before you ever sign that lease, I'll go ahead and work with you, and we'll come up with a set of estimates, revenue and expense and so forth for that specific location. I'll break it down by the month. I'll actually break it down by the day and by the hour, sales-wise, so that I can put some numbers together and you can look at it and say, okay, I'm going to do X amount of dollars a month. That gives me X amount of dollars in sales a week, and then I break that down by the day and actually by the hour. So you'll have a number that says to achieve that annual sales figure that we're estimating, I need 5 customers an hour doing an average transaction of $12. And then you can actually stand in front of that location that you're thinking about, say, the traffic's good, the vehicle traffic's good. Yeah, I think I can get 5 customers an hour to come into my store. Or you may say, no, I'm not going to get that. Let's look for more locations. So I always want to do that, but it's very hard to answer the question as you ask it in a very general way, because any number I give you is going to be incorrect. But that's why, as part of the process, we do that evaluation at the end, but before you sign your lease, because we want to make sure that all the information is as accurate as possible, and that's how we move forward there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Good question. Yes, any other questions?
Mr. John, I'm Daniel from Louisiana.
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm just wondering about I got to the point where I had to fill out the application and pay the $500.
Okay.
But I don't have the $500 right now. I'm waiting on it. Is there like a time limit, or is there anything else I can do?
No. Just when you're ready, you let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to have that to get started. But no, there's no time limit. Whenever you're ready is when we're ready.
Okay, and then y'all will help us get the building and everything, like if I find the location and all that?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll find, most often we're going to find the location or help you find the location. What part of Louisiana are you in? Where are you located?
I'm in Alexandria.
Okay. Yeah, no, we'll look at it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So we'll look at every available location, that's for lease. We always start there. And have you visit them, give us your feedback, and then we'll go forward from there.
Okay. All right. Well, that was what I was wondering.
All right.
Can you email me that thing again, the application and all that?
Yeah. Daniel, what's your last name?
Burns, B-U-R-N-S.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get somebody to get that out to you in the morning.
All right. Thank you very much.
Very good. Have a good evening, sir. Thanks for your questions. And your time, of course.
You too.
Take care.
You too. All right.
Bye-bye. Yes, next question.
Hey, John. Hey, this is T from Arizona again.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I have quick, what's the standard, because I'm very new to this, the standard lease agreement? Is it a year that you guys negotiate, or 6 months, or does it just vary?
They'll vary. They're typically, T, it's going to be 3 years. Sometimes 5, because you wouldn't want to take the time and spend the money to open a business to be open for a year and have the landlord not want to renew your lease. So normally what we try and do is negotiate a 3-year lease with a couple of 3-year options. And what that means is At the end of the 3 years, if you like the location, you're doing great business, you can renew for 3 years and then another 3 years. Sometimes the landlord will insist on a longer lease, initial term like a 5-year lease. And we always try and negotiate, too, for kind of an out clause for you. Because sometimes, people may find that the business just isn't for them. They decide they want to retire and move to Florida. You're in Arizona, so nobody's going to Florida from there. Things, people's lives change. So I always try to negotiate an out, like after 2 years, if you don't achieve a certain level of business, that you have the option to step out of your lease. We don't always get it, but we get it often. We also try and negotiate for the right for you to sublet your location. So say you decide to you hit the lottery and you want to, well, if you hit the lottery, you probably just pay off the lease. But you decide you want to move to the Bahamas, and you still got 3 years left on your lease or 2 years left on your lease. With that sublet clause, you can advertise and have somebody take over your lease and operate your business or another business in that space. The landlord just has to approve the new tenant. But so there's ways to get there, but typically 3 years is about the minimum that you're going to see for a lease.
Thank you.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Yes, next question.
Hi, John.
Yes, sir. Who's this?
Yeah, this is Belloni from Jersey.
Oh, we're in Jersey.
Yeah, I'm over down South Jersey.
Okay.
Yes, my question is, I would like to know who's gonna take care of all those permits, like operating certificate from the state. Who's doing that?
Good question. As the business owner, you actually have to make those applications, but in our operations department, our operations manager walks you through that whole process. And if you need help filling out some of the applications, we can do that for you as well. But as a business owner, you actually have to submit them.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah,
Those are part of the package also, or is it separate?
Oh yeah, no, it's part of the package. You wouldn't get charged for any of that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you too.
Yes, next question. Well, okay, if there are no other questions, I thank you all very much for your time this evening. I know everybody's time is very valuable, and I thank you for giving me a chunk of it. Hopefully we all got some good information, great questions. And again, call me anytime with any questions you may have. You can also contact your store development sales representative whose name and information was on the bottom of the email or the text that you received. My number again is 702-637-3389, and my name is John LaFronz, and I'm always happy to talk to you, address any questions you might have, and I hope that I have the opportunity to work with a number of you to get your stores open. So thank you again for your time this evening, and looking forward to speaking with you. Take care.
Well, John, you did a wonderful job, and you have a wonderful afternoon. This is Leon from Miami. I'm looking forward and working with you guys. We're going to get something started pretty soon, okay?
All right, I'll get that information out to you tomorrow, Leon. Take care.
I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You as well, sir. Thank you.